Welcome back, guys. In the last episode, you will recall we travelled through Isrealite Bay via the Isrealite Bay Track. That track was extremely rough and bumpy, corrugated and sandy, and so I'd have to stop occasionally and check the tyres, make sure they weren't overheating, and I was running the correct tyre pressures. I would also stop and take a couple of photos. It was beautiful to see the sun setting in the background, but it was a very, very long drive. It took me somewhere in the region of 2 hours to do 55 kilometers on this track, which is a very, very long way to go for a short distance. I previously thought that this building was a caretaker's building, but it is in fact an old fishing shack, which is used seasonally by some fishermen that occupy this area. And it looks like they've been collecting some whale bones off the beach. Quite impressive. Look how big they are. They're obviously the spine bones, and this is the rib bones. Wow. These floating buoys can also be found all along the beach from the fishing boats. Not sure what these shells are, but some type of snail, I guess. An old Land Cruiser which has seen better days, but perhaps it's not so hard to get it started. Bit of diesel, new battery, pump the tyres up, be good as gold, I reckon. little bit dusty. I reckon that old tractor still runs. Probably not the same for the Hilux though. This building used to house John Cook and his family back in the day. He was the linesman for the old telegraph station. The building's not in bad nick, I guess, considering. The door still works. Roof looks okay, sort of. Probably wouldn't live here though. Not much can be said for this next building. I wasn't game to walk inside it. Looks like it'd collapse at any moment. Yeah, give that a miss. Okay, so there's literally tracks running everywhere here. So I decided to put the drone up and have a good look and see exactly where the tracks go. I don't want to be driving around aimlessly for hours. I did download a copy of Google Maps offline so I could access all the maps, but it doesn't show you in detail all these tracks, and a drone comes in very handy. I was able to find the campsite and some campers where they were camping. I was also able to see a salt lake and also an old jetty on the left hand side there. I've seen that jetty in videos before, but I'm definitely going to take a visit and have a look at it. Also saw some tracks heading east. I decided to go for a little drive and talk to the other campers and get some information off them about what the track was like going east. The more information I had, the better. Local knowledge is best, they say. I found the other campers and had to talk to them about where they came from and where they were going to, and all the parties had come from Esperance. I was interested whether or not they'd been up to Point Culver and if they'd done the conveyor belt track up to the Eyre Highway. They hadn't. They said that a couple of other forward drivers had come from the east, but they were unsure whether they came down on the conveyor belt road or whether or not they came down another track. To me, it sounded like they came down another track because they said that the climb down was quite steep and that they wouldn't go back up that way. The road is quite steep, but someone's laid down some old conveyor belt tracks to make that climb a lot easier. Let's go up to Point Culver and check it out, eh? Looks like I have to find another way through this. There's some dried seaweed, but I can't drive on it. We want to go that way, so I might have to go back around, I think. So now I've reached a point where I need to assess things very carefully. Do I keep heading east or do I hang around here and head back west? How much fuel do I have? Is there any damage to the vehicle? Can I actually make it all the way east up to the Eyre Highway? These are all the things I need to consider, and I just need a minute to think about it. It's 100 kilometers to Point Culver from here, and I believe that it's around maybe 50 kilometers from Point Culver up to the Eyre Highway. So we have plenty of fuel. I've only used just over a quarter of a tank, and I've got another two 20-litre drums of diesel. The only issue for me is whether the road gets very soft, and then I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble. This vehicle is a four-wheel drive, but I've got to lower the tyre pressures right down to about 20 psi, and what happens then is I lose a lot of my ground clearance. We're going to continue and push our luck because it's all about the adventure. I just took a moment to stop the vehicle, do an inspection, and make sure everything was all right. Everything seems fine. We've done about 15 kilometers to get to this point. The road was very, very rough, very, very corrugated, sandy in some spots, hard in some spots, and I only managed to do probably about between 20 and 30 kilometers an hour. So very, very slow going, but we need to push on and get to Point Culver, hopefully before the sun goes down. No, really. It should only take us maybe 2 hours to get there. Fingers crossed.